Welcome, everybody, to the Unlikely Brothers podcast. I am Jake Johnson, also known as Big Jake, also known as State Farm.
And howdy, y'all. It's Addison Lee Thompson, the Honky Tonk Heathen. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Unlikely Brothers podcast.
What's up, brother?
I'm trying to recover. We talked about it a little bit in the lobby before we started recording, but I'm trying to recover from my mistake. And you know what? I'm just going to flat say it on a public platform. Society's mistake. I just learned what an NPC is.
Oh, did you get locked into a live and
So,
sit there and watch it for 10, 15 minutes thinking that something cool was going to happen?
no, I didn't think
Or you
anything
were
was
just
cool.
mesmerized by the stupidity of it all?
It wasn't even that. I was scrolling TikTok and then this video comes across and it's like this girl going, I like apples. I like apples. I like apples. Oranges are cool. And I'm like, what the hell? Is she got Tourette's? Is she having a stroke? Do I need to, contact the authorities for medical attention?
Yeah.
And then I just keep scrolling. I'm like, it's something stupid on TikTok. Then she pops back up like the ghost of Christmas past.
Right.
And she's still doing it. And I'm like, what the hell? And I asked my wife and she's like, oh yeah, that's an NPC. They give different reaction or different noises or whatever for people's reactions. I'm like, there's no way people actually watch this bullshit.
Oh, bro, I accidentally clicked into one time, and
Oh
it
my
was
God.
this chick that she had like elf ears and she
Yep.
was dressed in all white, and she was making some weird noises and like like all that kind of shit. There was over 3,000 people in her live just sending her gifts. Just
Oh,
boom, boom, boom. She got so many gifts, she couldn't keep up.
I literally popped into it and I'm like, there's no way that people are actually watching this stupid shit.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
get in there and there are people watching it. And because I focus on shit, especially when I'm mad at it, I'm like watching it angrily, like, this is so dumb. Why would anyone ever
Yeah.
like pay attention to this? And then I realized 10 minutes in, she's probably made more money off of me just sitting here not saying anything, steaming at it.
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody that's sitting there watching it is adding to the algorithm.
Yeah. I
So,
was like, oh,
whether
wow.
you gave a gift or not, you're helping her exposure.
Oh yeah, I was like, it
So,
finally hit me. I was like, I'm the idiot here.
yes.
I'm the fool.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you should be used to that though.
Ah, shut up. Legitimately, I thought she was having some sort of neurological disorder in the moment, and that like
Mhm.
this was going to be one of those like someone needs to call 911.
Yeah, that's what I thought the first time I saw one too. Is I was like, this is not a real human.
Yeah,
Like this is not a real person. This is AI, reacting. And then it wasn't. It was not. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing as a society that kind of shit is what entertains us.
it really is. I mean, look at like our grandparents' generation. Like they didn't even have, hell, my grandparents didn't even have TV.
Right.
They remember getting a TV.
Yeah. Same with my grandparents.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
now I mean, if I'm not careful when I'm taking a break in the workday, I'll accidentally waste an hour and a half scrolling through TikTok like that guy made a fart joke. Let me send that to
mhm.
somebody.
Right. Yeah. Or you make reaction videos to, the super intelligent tourists that go mess with the wildlife.
Those are public service announcements. I am doing America a service. You're welcome, America. I'm doing
No,
you a
you're
service
you're
when I
you're
do that.
really not.
Yes, I am.
Darwinism, survival of the fittest. If you are dumb enough to think that you can walk up to a wild ass buffalo or a grizzly bear or an elk and think that that's okay, think that you're not going to get hurt, maybe you don't. I'm not going to finish my statement, but you know exactly where I'm going with it.
Yes, I think we all do. Although I will say this,
So,
when we were in Alaska, we went to Katmai National Park for a little
yeah,
backcountry fishing in there.
yeah,
And you got to go through bear school, as they call it, because the Katmai bears are conditioned very differently from your average wild grizzly. They're still a wild animal. Don't get me wrong, but the difference is you can be 5 foot from a Katmai sow with a cub on her, and if you follow their protocols properly, you can be 5 foot away, and they're just going to look at you and then walk right past you.
mhm,
And it's the basic, don't run from them is the big one because it could trigger a charge response. But they're very conditioned to people, and this is years and years and years of scientific methodologies being applied. And
Right.
I asked when we got done, I said, "When's the last like major attack y'all had?" I said, "I'm sure y'all have had, scuffles and all that." And he said, "We've had one death since like it was something insane like 2001, and it was in the back country, and it was a very random tragic circumstance." Think about that. You're in one of the largest populations in Alaska of coastal brown bears, a very aggressive species. They've had one death since like I think it was 2001 or something. He said,
That's insane. And then that's I mean, props to the park rangers that run that bear school for
hmm
and the scientists for, developing that, the bear school.
"Yeah," and
To save people, to protect people,
yeah,
to protect and not only just protect people, but protect the bears.
yeah. I
Because
mean,
what's the first thing that people call for when a bear attacks someone in the wild? Well, did you kill it?
yeah.
Well, you're in its home. Like, what do you do when someone walks into your home? You
That
don't, you know
that's what gets me every year when some backpacker, and don't get me wrong, I love all these outdoor activities, I do it myself, but when for
Yeah.
some guy that's going to DIY backpack in Yellowstone or DIY bow hunt in the Gravelies, and he stumbles up on a grizzly, makes all the wrong choices, gets mauled, gets killed, and people are like, "Kill the bear," and then it's like, "Well, he had 5 granola bars in his pocket and he was running from it."
I mean, he
Oh, and
literally
he didn't
was
have bear spray or a gun.
he literally was unarmed bait. I don't get it. I
I don't-
do need to point out one thing though.
What's that?
In our intro video,
Yes.
for those of you listening on Spotify, I'm sorry, you got to check us out on YouTube. Our intro video, 50% of the time, I have a tank top on.
Yes.
This is about what the sixth time we've recorded.
hmm
About 50% of the time, I have a tank top on.
Yes.
So it's a weird coincidence on this recording with it being the same. I just wanted to point that out.
You just want interesting statistic. We're gonna get a new tally going. How many times does Jake have a tank top on when we're recording versus when he doesn't?
How many times does he actually wear sleeves?
Yes, exactly.
Well, when we get up into the couple hundreds episode, that'll be an interesting tally to take a look at.
Yes, indeed, indeed. For our 100th episode, we're gonna take an NPC content creator and put him in a national park with a grizzly bear. That's gonna be our. I'm not wishing them ill will. We're just gonna combine both things that we just talked about. Or hell, have the grizzly bear do an NPC video.
I mean, we could probably make that happen.
We might have the budget for it by then.
By then, hopefully, fingers crossed. I mean,
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
100 episodes is still a pretty new podcast, but
Yes,
fingers
but
crossed that we get that kind of budget to work with.
indeed, indeed, and episode 5, right? We're on numero cinco.
5, 6, I don't know because we're gonna mix them all up. So, with the guests,
Yeah, but either way,
we've done 4 solo, I
mm,
think 5 solo, 3, 4. I don't know. I honestly don't know anymore. I
yeah,
look at our faces so much between editing for YouTube and editing for, clips. I just put stuff together now. I
yeah,
don't I try and keep it, hey, this is coming up from our next episode, or hey, we just recorded this, or hey, we this dropped today, like the video we put out on the YouTube or not YouTube, but the Tiki Taki today
mhm,
and our Instagram.
yep.
So
Well, either way, whatever episode this is, we pre-record these folks, as we've said before. But right now, as we speak, there is a massive event happening in the news, and I know we said we weren't going to get political. I know we said that was not part of what this platform was to talk about.
right.
But this is going to be a conflict very near and dear to Jake's heart, and I'm just so sorry for what you're going through right now because the Swifties have invaded the NFL. They're everywhere, and they're learning the
Hey,
sport at a very amazing rate, which I'm surprised.
I'm surprised too. What was the first of all? Yeah, R.I.P. NFL. Second of all, R.I.P. to all merch sales, especially, I think it was 400%. I think that was the statistic I saw. Travis Kelsey's jersey sales went up 400% from the
What?
week before she showed up in his box in Arrowhead Stadium.
Holy
400.
shit.
He was already one of the,
Yeah.
probably, I would say, if not top 10, but top, top 20 players in the NFL. I mean, he's a very marketable guy. He's a very likable guy. You saw him everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
You started seeing him more and more, especially, after, this last Super Bowl win, you started seeing him more and more on commercials and, especially the State Farm commercials. But yeah, um, yeah, if this wasn't delicious, I would pour one out for my homies.
Oh my god. Here's my thing is I saw social media somewhere, someone was reacting to it, but one of the Swifties posted on Twitter, the Chiefs had an away game or a specialty game or whatever,
Mhm.
and the tweet literally says, "Why are their costumes different this week?"
You know, I try and stay off of those meme sites and those. You're gonna turn me autistic this show, just saying. Or I'm gonna develop Tourette's, I'm gonna develop a stutter. Something is going to happen.
Hey, better
And
your sport than mine.
I love that, on World Mental Health Day, you bring up something that is so detrimental to to my to my mental health.
Jake had a
We're gonna
nervous
have to we're gonna have
breakdown
to
during this recording.
yeah, we're gonna have to battle through it. Um, no, it's ridiculous.
It's so stupid.
You know,
I
uh,
she's like a Bond villain. I'm convinced she's a white cat and a facial scar away from being a Bond villain because she's infiltrated the NFL,
yeah,
and,
yeah.
I mean, for God's sake, she took out a Jonas Brother a couple of weeks ago by wearing a denim jacket.
No, it's just it's ridiculous.
I think it's
It's
hilarious 'cause I'm not that big of
honest.
a football fan, so
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not a huge NFL fan. I'm a fan of the sport.
yeah, fair
I'm a
enough.
fan of the history of the game. I'm a fan of, progression of the game. This is not the direction that I saw this season going at all. They
I
were
don't think
playing
anybody did.
more games in London this year. It expanding the reach of the NFL. There's, a couple new rules that maybe it's going to be good, maybe it's not. I never in my wildest dreams ever expected to hear the words Taylor Swift and football in the same sentence, other than she turned down the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
She was offered the Super Bowl, she turned it down. I don't blame her. She'd probably make more at one of her shows than she would at the Super Bowl.
yeah,
So,
probably.
I mean, because she just, when she goes to a city, she just stacks shows.
Yeah.
I think when she was in Tampa, she did like 3 shows. When she was in LA, she did 5.
My wife found somebody on some social media site that she frequents that I probably don't, that was willing to pay, I don't remember the dollar figure, but it was such an abhorrent amount of money. I think they were willing to sell something like a car, like their car or some shit like that, just
Just
to
to
get
get
tickets to
tickets.
this Eras tour.
That is stupid. It's
Look,
absolutely stupid.
I love Jason Boland's music. I'm not selling my pickup to go see Boland live.
No, no. You would not in any way, shape, or form
No.
sell a vehicle to go see him live.
If
I
if
don't
if
I don't get
Prince
it.
came back from the dead and there was only one show, I would not sell a vehicle to go see it.
Jimi Hendrix, I would. I probably would. If he came
No,
back from the dead,
I'd sell a kidney. Now, whoever's getting the kidney's getting a raw deal, but
I mean, yeah. Yeah, that's a very raw deal. Yours
yeah, no,
are,
mine are shot probably.
probably, I mean, if you tried to sell part of your liver, they'd be getting even a more raw deal. So, I mean, speaking of, you just sipping on the regular Pendleton tonight?
Yeah, actually, no. Pendleton Military Edition. My father-in-law
Oh,
got me a bottle when
fancy.
he came to visit.
So kind of fancy.
Kind of, although I have a new one added to my Pendleton collection.
a new one after the $45 bottle?
Oh, no, did we already talk about the
Yeah,
$45
we talked
bottle?
about that
Okay,
already.
yeah, no, no, no,
Yeah, I think
then,
that was
no, I don't have
episode
anything new.
1.
I've still just got
Okay.
military edition, the $45 bottle, and then,
Mhm.
midnight. Trying to get a
You
hold of
know,
some
we're gonna
1910.
have to stop with the air quotes, because if your wife ever watches the show, she's gonna see us do the air quotes, and she's gonna go looking.
I think she was pretty aware when it came in its own custom handmade wooden box with its own custom hand-tooled leather
But
neck.
does she know that, like, it's all hand tooled? I mean, is she
Oh, yeah,
privy
there's
to
like a
that?
little inscription inside the box explaining everything,
Oh.
so and
Oh,
I
right.
caught her looking at it or not caught her, but I saw her looking at it the other day. I was like, "Oh, she knows. She's just saving this."
Yeah. That's gonna come out when you least expect it.
Oh, it's gonna come out of
She's gonna want something, and you're gonna be like, "No, we can't afford that."
it's
And
gonna
she's
come
gonna be like,
out of left field quicker than the Taylor Swift invasion of the NFL.
"You know what? I can only hope that it's a time that I am around to see this, because when you guys go at each other, it is so much fun
For
for me,
you,
for me,
the
because I
problem
can
is
just sit there and watch and laugh at both of you, because neither of you are making any sense, but you're trying to make
no.
sense and you're trying to make your points, and by God, it's hilarious.
And the problem is we both like to rant for the sake
Yeah,
of ranting.
and you both try and talk over each other, and then that just pisses each of you off more, and, oh god, it's so much fun. So,
Although,
and
and you
it
can attest to
never.
this, there's times we're actually arguing, and then there's times that it's like a hobby for us.
Oh, absolutely, that's your love language,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Our love language is
So,
ranting at each other.
yeah, yeah, no,
But
and
that is
talking shit to each
super
other.
healthy on World Mental Health Awareness Day.
Hey, if you both do it, and that's, and neither of you feel, slighted by it in any
Yeah.
way, then, why isn't it healthy?
Oh, yeah.
I follow a couple on TikTok, the Married Misfits.
Okay.
Um, I'm gonna send you one of their videos. They are hilarious, and they talk to each other, very similarly to how you and Natalie talk to each other.
Well,
It's
and that way of humor, the way we talk to each other, because to us, it's an
Mhm.
inside joke, it's humor. It
Yeah,
damn near got us in trouble at our old house.
I don't doubt that.
So, the inside joke is like today, we were reheating some leftovers, right? And she
Mhm.
was like, "Hey, I got the chili done." And just jokingly, I was like, "Woman, I told you I wanted tacos," you know? And then
Yeah.
we both laughed about it. But one time I was on the front porch at our old house grilling steaks, and I was like, "Hey, honey, can you run in and, grab X, Y, and Z?" And I remember very clearly she came out with a tub of butter, and I
Which
just
probably was not X, Y, or Z.
no, I can't remember what it was, but it was like seasonings and like maybe a
Yeah.
plate, getting ready to take these things off. And so I jokingly yelled because that's our running inside joke. I was like, "Woman, I told you to go get me." Blah, blah, blah. And I look, and the neighbor is taking his groceries out of the car, and he like stops and looks, and he's all wide eyed, like, "Oh shit!" And I'm like, "Oh shit, is he getting ready to call the cops on my ass right now?" Like,
Yeah, probably is.
crap. And then thank God my wife's laughing on the porch right next to me right after I said it. But otherwise, that could have gone really bad really quick.
It really could have.
Yeah.
I've had some people ask me about it. I think we were in Vegas.
Mhm.
One of the housekeepers asked if you guys were okay, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Yeah. No,
100% fine."
because
Like,
she's just
it's
as bad.
literally. Oh yeah, yeah. It's not just you
Yeah.
saying that to her. She fires right back. She is not afraid. It's that
Yeah.
it's that Midwestern attitude.
The
So.
amount of people that have been convinced that we were getting ready to get a divorce and didn't realize that we're actually joking with each other.
Mhm. Oh, the
She
first
is
time I heard it, I was like,
Yeah,
this I don't know." And then but I asked you about it. I was like, "Are you guys all right?" And then you explained, "Oh yeah, that's just how
oh, yeah, yeah.
that's our inside joke." So.
She flat in front of my parents one time was like, "Asshole, I'm gonna divorce you," and, like, I had to explain to my folks, like, "We're not really getting a divorce, like,
Right, right. God,
it's
that
a
would have been
joke.
hell.
Everybody chill.
Yes. Just relax, people.
Just
Relax.
just breathe. Just go with the flow."
Yeah.
Although,
So,
not to beat a dead horse, but circling back to the Taylor Swift thing because I
why
can.
why do we
because I had this thought.
Why do we have to do this?
Because I had this thought. She has a track record of not really keeping her relationships.
No shit.
So I'm saying this publicly right now. Swifties, if you can get the message to Taylor, if you watch our podcast, don't date a cowboy. Don't date a bull rider. We're assholes. All we do is drink beer and talk shit. The sport of rodeo is not interesting. If things go south with Travis, Taylor, don't do it. Don't date a bull rider.
When you said cowboy, I was still in the NFL. I was like, she gonna go date a Dallas Cowboy now.
Oh my god, would that not be the upset of the year?
Well, I mean, it would because they suck. So, and if you look at her track record of guys that she's dated, it's not unsuccessful guys.
No,
It's
no.
John Mayer.
I
I
forgot she
heard a
dated John
list.
Mayer.
I heard a list. That's the only one I remember from the list. But Harry Styles, guys that are wildly successful.
Who's Harry Styles?
He's a musician, I think. I don't know. He's a public figure of some sort.
That sounds
I
familiar. That
just
sounds like
I just
something.
know his name from things.
Fair enough.
So I can't actually see her dating a Dallas Cowboy. So maybe she should. Maybe she should try dating someone that's not, already successful, and maybe it'll turn them around.
Maybe. I mean, either that or Jeff Hobson's song "If Jesus Was a Texan," the last line of the last verse comes true.
What's that?
So the whole song is this deal. Jeff used to be in the Pentecostal seminary and then became a
Okay.
country musician. He's a very good friend of mine. I've actually got his initials tattooed on my wrist, just because I'm such a fan of his songwriting. But he's got this song "If Jesus Was a Texan," and at the very end of the last verse, he goes, "He'll give us back Tom Landry, let Tom lay down the law, and he'll kick that money changer's ass clean back to Arkansas."
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a little on the nose.
Yeah, a little bit. Not really pulling any punches with that line, is he?
No, but I mean, when you write songs like Jeff does, I think you can get away with that line.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. I can't imagine that was probably a very popular song in the locker room. Not that I would expect his songs to be popular in the locker room anyway, but
It's actually he's a DFW guy. That is like his most requested one at his shows. Is if
oh, I
Jesus was
don't I
a
don't
Texan.
doubt
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Outside of the
Oh,
locker
outside
room.
of the organization, yeah,
Yes, outside of the organization, yeah, I can see that being a popular song.
yeah.
So what else is new since
Uh,
we talked last?
Not
What have you been
much.
up to?
I've been doing the same old musician thing, just booking shows, playing shows. We're gonna be in Canyon Lake, Texas, this weekend,
Nice.
which will be
Full
fun.
band
Playing
or just you and Jeremy?
just me and Jeremy. We're not gonna be full band again until November,
All right.
and then we'll wrap up the year full band, and then we're gonna go back and do this acoustic deal through the winter. I think we're gonna have fun with kind of more of a singer-songwriter element to our shows for the first 2 months of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. I'm trying to work on a couple shows up here. I'll see if I can't rustle up some Idaho, maybe some Eastern Washington shows to go along with Jackson Hole and potentially Jackson Hole and potentially Helena. So
Yeah. We
working on those locations, but I think I'm trying to find a place that would benefit everybody, the
yeah.
venue and us as well. I don't want it to be a busy bar where no one's going to give a shit that you're sitting up there, talking about the songs, and because
Yeah.
it's not just we want it to be a singer songwriter showcase where
Yeah.
you do talk about the inspiration behind the songs. And
Yeah. Well,
so I want it to be the right venue, and Eastern Washington's kind of tough sometimes.
yeah, but I mean, that's what makes those kind of gigs so much fun is if you can find the right venue for them, you kind of get to. And don't get me wrong, I love playing a rowdy, joint where we can just rock it. But
Oh yeah.
it's very rare that I just get to sit down, play a song, and hey guys, this is the story behind this or the inspiration behind this. That's very rare. I hadn't done one of those in a while. So I'm excited that that's kind of the direction we're going to go in early in the year. And I wish I had more to report because we really do have a lot going on. I'm so stupid busy right now. It's not even funny, but it's a lot of stuff that I can't necessarily announce yet.
Talk about. I mean, we can talk about it,
You and I
but
can talk about it.
we can't talk about it.
Yes. Sorry, guys. Y'all are left out of the loop until
Yep.
I can announce it.
You're not in the loop.
But we do have the lineup finalized, and I can announce this, the lineup and the location finalized for Honky Tonk Christmas 2023.
Oh, snap.
Oh yeah, lock and load, boys and girls. This is going to be the biggest one we have had since I started this. So, for those of you that don't know, Honky Tonk Christmas is something I started years and years and years ago, and it is a benefit concert I do every year. I do it in a different town, different location, and the venue picks the charity. And so, whatever you end up spending, donating, we do silent auctions, we do raffles, that all goes to that charity. Well, this year it is going to David Lee's Songwriters Fund. David Lee is a very prominent songwriter. If you liked a country song in the early 2000s, late 90s, David more than likely wrote it. And David was in a very tragic vehicle accident earlier this year. He is luckily on the up and up. He is pretty much almost completely recovered. And his wife and him wanted to start this Songwriters Fund for songwriters because, some of us don't have health insurance. Actually, most of us don't have health insurance. And
Right.
this job can be a little tough financially sometimes. And so he wanted to start a way to help songwriters out, whether it's, hey, I got some medical bills I need to take care of, or, hey, I've got this banger song I wrote and I need to cut a demo, but I can't afford the studio time. Do you have a scholarship I can apply for?
Mm-hmm.
We are going to do the inaugural benefit. We're partnering with them. So we're doing the inaugural benefit this year as Honky Tonk Christmas 2023. And our lineup is as follows. Starting off, we've got Diamondback, Texas, which if you're not from Texas, big time local band that's been around for years and years and years and years. So we got Diamondback, Texas. We got my buddy, Mr. Peter Sinclair, a fellow artist that records at Yellow Dog Studios. He's going to be showing up full band. My good friend, Savannah Chestnut in the Field Hands. Savannah was on The Voice, Team Blake. We got Savannah coming all the way down from Kansas.
There we go.
You got me and the boys, us truly, Addison Lee Thompson and the Honky Tonk Heathens, and headlining the one, the only Texas legend himself, Mr. Sundance Head. And he was also on The Voice. I don't know if y'all remember that. And I believe he won it.
I don't recall.
I don't either, but I know he was on it. But someone the other day when I was mentioning that, they were like, "Oh yeah, he won The Voice," and I was like, "Oh shit, I didn't even know he won it."
Yeah,
but I know he was on it. So Mr. Sundance Head's going to be headlining.
We'll have to check that out so I can put it in the show notes.
And
and we'll probably want to check it out because hey, maybe we have him on here and talk about it. I don't know.
Exactly.
Or maybe we get a hold of Savannah and talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know she's crazy busy right now. So
oh god, she's always busy. I mean, she gigs more than any, other than like Dallas Moore, who doesn't even count because I don't think Dallas has a day off. She gigs more than any other person I know in this business. I mean, she's always playing.
Yeah, no. Whenever I see a post, it's, oh, hey, here's the next 15 nights. I got 27 shows. Like, wait, what? What?
Like, how? Why?
That's insane. But no, she's out there grinding. She's talented as shit.
Oh hell yeah, she is.
She's amazing. I love listening to her. Whenever she drops a new song or covers a song, it's just her voice. There's something about her voice that is just, I mean, there's a reason she was on The Voice.
Yeah,
she's talented as fuck. So,
oh god, she's so stupid talented. It's ridiculous. Yeah, if y'all don't know Savannah Chestnut in the Field Hands, or just go to iTunes and look up Savannah Chestnut.
Yeah.
She is a dear friend of mine and absolute badass musician. We need to have her on here.
We need to talk to her. Or what they could do is, since they're already listening to this on Spotify, they could just go to the search button after the full show.
After the full show. Don't you leave us early. Don't do it.
Yes. No premature leaving.
You're trying to do it. Stop.
No one likes to leave prematurely. After we wrap up, when we're, getting down to the tail end, then
Yeah,
you can go find Savannah Chestnut here on Spotify.
you
So,
can.
and if you're not listening on Spotify, then you can go to Spotify or then you can go to iTunes.
Or
Shit, I'm
YouTube.
I'm
She's got
sure
some great
she's even
music
got some
videos.
stuff on YouTube. If you're
Yeah.
watching this on YouTube, find her on YouTube. But yeah, no, find Savannah. And yes, we need to get a hold of her and
Yes, we've got
see if
so
she
many
would
people we gotta get lined up.
bless us with her presence on here. On
Indeed,
our on
indeed.
our lowly little podcast.
On possibly the biggest train wreck of a I don't know, I've been listening to some
Nah,
recently that
nope.
I'm like,
I can't
"Oh."
even call it the biggest train wreck of a podcast. I did one solo for a while, and my first episode, I don't know if I've talked about it on here yet or not, but my first episode, something in me, like if you follow me on Instagram, awesome. If you don't, Big Jake underscore the beard. Um, I post, I try to post inspirational or motivational stuff. And my first ever, my first ever recording of the Ramblin' Beard, I did on my phone through Anchor, and I had my earbuds in. The way it sounded, I thought I was recording with the earbud microphone.
Mhm.
It wasn't. I got like
Oh.
2 phone calls or a text message or something in the middle of
Oh.
it, and I was on a rant, and it vibrated, and it was in a spot where even if I wanted to edit it and go back and re-record what I said, there was no way I was gonna be able to match the energy that I had because I was up on a soapbox. I was in it to win it, and I was pissed off, and I was angry, and was just calling people out without trying to call people out, and lo and behold, those couple of phone calls or those vibrations that I didn't think would get picked up by my earbuds got picked up by my phone because it was actually recording from the phone microphone, and you could
Oh.
hear the vibration in the final recording.
Ah.
So that one was, and then I got over that. I got a couple, I got a couple good microphones, and I talked to our buddies over at the Talking Beards and found out what they would recommend as far as equipment,
Mhm.
and use that for a while, for recording purposes. And I didn't drop the money for StreamYard, so I did everything, all my remote stuff. There was no I never did it on video. My remote stuff, I would do, over Google Voice and
Mhm.
record that way. And it sounded like it was a distant recording. It doesn't sound like this where, I mean, shit, you could just be in the other room and no one would know. It was for what I paid for it, which was $0. It worked great. But yeah, no, I that one was there was a couple shows that were a train wreck, and there was a couple shows that were absolutely fantastic. And I missed it. So, when you brought up the idea of a podcast, I had already started thinking about, doing another one. And I was approached by someone, and I was contemplating starting it with them given the recent happenings in the bearding community. I'm glad I didn't. So,
It has been an interesting time to watch the bearding community.
whoo, right?
It's
Right.
been yeah, it has been interesting.
You know what? That was 2, 3 people of the thousands and thousands and thousands of people and the thousands of events, that have happened. That was 2 or 3 people.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely not is it a black eye on the bearding community? Yeah, kinda. The way the bearding community handled it, we really try to police our own in the
We
bearding
really
community,
do.
and hold people, accountable for their actions or inactions, or what have you. So it's cool to see, how everybody kind of came together, and it almost feels, I mean, it's still fresh. Well, one of them is still pretty fresh, and it almost feels like there's a refocus. It got a little lax there for a while.
Mhm.
Everybody was just kind of doing whatever, and there wasn't really any accountability. And I have a feeling that that is back, and that is going to change, for the foreseeable future.
I think so too. And the thing that you got to remember with any situation like that, or any situation involving any amount of drama, is quite frankly, if you get a group of people together, the more and more that that group expands, incorporating different individuals, which also means different walks of different walks of life, different ideologies, different backgrounds, what have you. But as that group grows, you're going to have a larger and larger percentage possibility of there being some drama going down.
Yeah, some bad apples,
Yeah,
you know.
some bad
But
apples. But I will say this, when I was watching kind of what we're talking about going down, and I've flat said this to you, I've said this to pretty much any member of the bearding community I talk to. The basic bottom line of bearding for charity, doing a beard competition, is we do this for charity.
for charity,
If that is not
that's
why you're doing it, go find another hobby.
yep. That is, when I talk to someone that has no idea what the bearding community is, but comes up and talks to me about my beard,
Mhm.
um, the first thing I do is, I say, they're, they ask inevitably, well, do you win all the competitions? Well, no,
No.
I don't win all of them. I've won my fair share, but there's some guys out there that have an amazing, even better beard than I do. But one of the first things I say when I say, I do beard competitions, I all of the competitions that I go to, all of the events that I do through the bearding community are fundraisers for different
Mhm.
charities throughout the world. And
Yeah.
it's kind of fun to watch people's reaction. I don't know if you know this or not, but during 2020 or 2021, I can't remember which. I think it was 2020 when we did a whole bunch of online comps.
Mhm.
Our club, the club that you and I are in,
Mhm.
was part of raising over $100,000 for charity.
Yep, I remember that.
And it was all done remotely. It was all done over the internet because we still all had that same passion.
Yeah.
We just had to find a
You
different
had you
way
had to
of
find a
doing it.
different, yeah, exactly. You had to find a different platform to do it. We couldn't do these in-person comps, but we still, and that's a testament to the community. We were still raising money left and right like a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
We
Well, I mean,
just we had to
there was
adapt.
one day, I know there was one day during that time that I had entered in 2 different online comps, and I
Yep.
was a judge for a 3rd one that same day.
Yep.
It was amazing how quickly we shifted into, the online comps.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how quickly the whole attitude shifted after, what you and I are talking about.
Yeah.
It's just it's in when the right people are doing things for the right reasons and they take a stand,
Mhm.
like a couple individuals did, when they take a stand, people are going to follow because their heart is there. They just don't have, sometimes they don't know if they should speak up.
Yeah.
They don't know if they can speak up, but they can. Everybody in the community that's doing it for the right reason, absolutely, you have a voice.
Yeah, exactly. And
From
it,
the smallest of clubs to the guys that or the women that compete without clubs or not in a club that just like to go to the comps and show up and do the beard or make a beard if that's your thing. It doesn't matter who you are, you have a voice.
exactly. And we do this for such incredible causes. I'm not even going to try to start listing half the crap that I have competed for charity wise, as far as who we're donating to or trying to help
Oh,
out
I
as
couldn't
an
I
organization.
couldn't even tell you.
I can't even list it. But that's what this community is about, is supporting those in need, supporting amazing causes, incredible people, and doing it through a really fun way to raise money. We're not out there And nothing against anybody that's doing a food drive or something like that, but it's so unique that it gets people's attention, and they're like, "What? There's a beard competition going on this weekend at
Right.
the VFW? Like,
Right.
what?" And
They
then you watch it.
definitely it takes people
uh,
it takes people's it takes them back a little bit.
Yeah, and then they show up out of curiosity, and then you got goofy looking dudes like yourself and I sitting there competing.
You're
Well, not
goofy.
against each other, but
No.
no,
God, could
we
you
were.
imagine a comp where it was just one category? Everybody just get up on
I
stage?
I would stay in it with the uniqueness of having chops until one of you big beards showed up, and then I'd be like, "Nope, screw this, I'm out, I quit. I'm
I
Imma
mean,
go help run the raffle. I'm not even risking it."
yeah, it's a good place for you at the raffle table.
Friggin'
But
yeah, no,
yeah, no, it's I like the way that the community rallied,
I did too.
as a whole.
And we checked in on each other, like, I know when I
Yeah.
first started my bit of lockdown until I found some stability in a ranching job, um, I was going out of my mind because we were on a hot streak on the road, man. We were touring the shit out of a record and
Mhm.
just kicking ass. And then all of a sudden it was like, go home. Well, what do you mean go home? Go home. You have no more
Yeah.
shows.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden I look up and I'm having to drop my manager at the time because we ain't doing shit. And, having to kind of basically, I never fired the band, but everyone's going their separate ways. And I got in a really bad mental state. But the community that was there for me was a bunch of bearding guys.
Yeah.
Like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Like, "I'm just sitting at the house drinking. Let's talk on Zoom for 2 hours today, dude."
Yeah.
And that's what we did.
Yep, absolutely. Not last year. Yeah, last year. I kinda went MIA. I took a, what, 6-month hiatus
Mhm,
from my socials. Oh, there was a handful of people that that noticed.
mhm.
I'm sure more people noticed, but there was a handful of people that noticed enough to reach out.
Yeah.
A lot of them are associated with, our sponsor, Big Sexy Beard brand.
Yes,
Um,
indeed.
and I actually told them in our group chat the other day,
Mhm.
we got to talking about this situation, and then it led to other talk, but I let them know, hey, 99% of the people in that group chat are people that actively checked on me,
Yeah.
and that there was a few others that are outside of that group that checked on me. And the funniest part, well, I guess it's not really funny, but the best part of it all is I wasn't associated with Big Sexy Beard brand at that
No,
point,
you weren't an ambassador at the time.
but it was those people in
Yeah.
it was those people that checked on me and made sure I was okay and said, hey, what's going on? I can hear your phone. Your phone's buzzing.
Oh, frick. I'll tell you what, man. We can leave that in. It's honestly sad, and I'm
Yep.
not saying this to actually be the sarcastic chaos gremlin that I tend to be on this podcast. The amount of Amber Alerts I get in a day
Really?
living in South Central Texas, it's ridiculous. It's
Oh
honestly
shit.
sad.
I bet. I bet. I
Well,
can't even imagine.
we're also really close to the border region, which is historically
Mhm.
pretty crime ridden.
Yep.
And then you've got San Antonio, which is a mass populace, and back to my thing of the more and more people you put together, the more and more the stupidity percentage goes up.
Well, yeah.
So you got San Antonio on one side of us, you got Austin on the other side, Dallas isn't that far away, Waco ain't that far away, and Houston ain't that far away. I mean, I'm right around all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you I'm sure you get them from everywhere.
Yeah. So it's
I don't even remember the last time I got an Amber Alert up here.
there's times I'll go a couple of weeks without them, and then there's times I'll get 5, 6 a day.
No shit. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
we get a lot of them sometimes, which is like I said, I'm actually not trying to be the sarcastic chaos gremlin I normally am on this podcast. It actually is really sad,
Yeah, it
but
is. Very, very sad.
thank
Maybe
God
we
for Amber Alerts and them going to your
Hey,
phone.
right? Exactly.
I'd love to know, out of general curiosity, the statistical success rate with them because I mean everybody's getting them on their phone.
Yep.
We've all been in a restaurant where all of a sudden everyone's phone goes off at once and it makes you jump. I would be very curious to know what the statistical success rate of those are.
I bet we could look it up.
Yeah, I'm sure we could.
I mean, I'm sure I could Google it actually. Speaking of phones,
Things we thought we might never cover on this
right?
podcast. What is the statistical success rate of digital Amber Alerts?
Digital Amber Alerts. There is literally a page, amberalert.ojp.gov, that lists the statistics.
No shit. Let's hear them, Big Jake.
As of January 2nd, 2023, 1,127 children were recovered through the Amber Alert system, and 131 were rescued because of wireless emergency alerts. There are 82 Amber Alert plans throughout the United States. So let's just look at 2021. Let's see if it shows the stats for it. But 1,100 kids, that is awesome.
That is a lot of
Yeah,
saved kids. That's
this
badass.
this is 34 pages long. Success
Okay, we're not.
stories. I mean, we don't have time.
No,
Number
we
and
don't.
location of Amber Alert summary, page 7. Texas. Yep, you are number 1 in Texas.
Yeah, like I said, we get a shit
Number
ton in
1.
one day.
Washington came in at 1, 2, 3, 8th place with 9.
Really?
So yeah, it drops off considerably. In 4th place, there's 3 states that had 13 each. 5th place had 2 states with 12 each. And yeah, but so
Well, and with Washington, you've got Seattle, you've got Walla Walla. I mean,
I would say I've lived back in Walla Walla for a year and a half now. Haven't got a single one. When
mhm.
I was living in Yakima or near Yakima, I got, I would get more. Primary case analysis was more females. 69 of the total Amber Alerts for the year was the motivation for abduction was custodial domestic, so a mom or a dad,
That doesn't surprise
or
me.
or the custodial parent.
That doesn't surprise me. I had or didn't I have a good friend that's a retired cop in Montana, and he has actively stated that he doesn't know the direct statistic, but most of his kidnapping cases, it was a
Are
disgruntled parent in a
Yeah.
custody battle.
Okay, so you want to hear an absolutely amazing statistic?
Yeah, fire away.
Percentage of cases in which child recovered within 72 hours.
Okay.
Take a stab. Take a stab.
65, 60, or 70 something.
Nope. 97%.
Holy crap.
So, Amber Alert works.
It works. Okay.
Within 3 days,
Within
it
three.
works.
Holy crap.
97% of the time.
That makes me feel a little bit better because there's definitely times it goes off and I'm like driving down I-35 and I'm like, I haven't seen a single car that matches that description. And I'm like, I wonder if this
Right?
actually works, or if it's
Yeah.
just some stupid program that doesn't. But good to know it's effective. Hell yeah.
Hey, it's highly effective.
Highly effective. Damn.
Very,
As
very
effective as a Swiftie at a Chiefs game.
motherfucker.
Just one more little jab.
You gotta just kick me right in the nuts right before we call it a show. Son of a bitch. I mean, props to them for at least giving it a shot to learn. Whether all of them do or they're just jumping on the bandwagon of
Yeah.
whatever. It's good for the NFL. It gets exposure to people that normally wouldn't. So
And
yeah,
they are
it's a
learning at
good
a
thing all the way around. And later, she's gonna write at least 10 songs about the breakup.
yeah.
So she's gonna sell millions more records.
And when or if that breakup comes, Taylor, again, as I said earlier, don't date a cowboy. We're assholes. You don't want a rodeo cowboy. Leave our sport alone.
Mhm.
There's enough drama as is that goes on every year at the NFR. I swear. It's coming up, and my buddy texted me. He's like, "Are you going?" I was like, "No, we can't swing it." And then it just
Yeah.
like hit me. I'm like, "Oh God, what's it gonna be this year? What is gonna be the viral internet drama at the NFR this year?"
Well, you know what they say, empty drink show's over.
Damn straight. Well,
I mean,
Damn straight.
yours has been empty for a minute, so
Yeah.
but you had a much smaller glass than I did.
Yeah, I don't do the big whiskey glasses, or this show would really get interesting real quick.
Oh, this was a big glass, but it was mostly
No,
tea. I had some
but
peach whiskey in there, so I
but
had some peach iced tea
mm,
tonight.
but another episode in the bag, ladies and gentlemen. As always, thank you for tuning in. We've got tons of fun guests lined up. We're just working on getting them scheduled or rescheduled,
Yeah,
because that's why we pre-record, because life
right?
happens. But
Exactly.
thank you all so much for tuning in. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram, TikTok,
YouTube, Spotify,
yes,
Amazon
YouTube,
Podcasts,
Spotify,
Castbox, iHeartRadio, all of
and
them places.
more than likely, if things go according to plan, I think I can safely say that by the holidays, we should have a pretty big announcement coming y'all's way as far as maybe this show going on the road.
Oh, are we gonna have some breaking news maybe? Yes, we
Possibly
probably
by the
will.
holidays. I don't want to say anything yet until we get it totally locked in, but it's pretty much about 70% locked in at this point. But we're not saying
Yeah.
anything until it is.
Right. Anyways, thanks everybody. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for listening. Thanks for putting up with our bullshit. Addison, as always, it was a pleasure.
Indeed. And
Talk
we'll
to
see
you
y'all next week.
later. Later.